It's really interesting. Obviously, I've lived on one side of the media, and I've done the media stuff when I was a college player and someone as a professional player. But I haven't played in the NFL. Let's not kid ourselves. On the other hand, we've done the interviewing. We ask people questions all the time, and it's a little bit like what Andrew Barry said without saying it. That I want to play you some sound. So, there have been a lot of people critical of Matt Eberflus. I mean, Colin Cowherd, did Eberflus pee in his cornflakes at some point in time? I'm not really sure when that moment was. But Colin has been on about, hey, they got to make coaching changes, all coaching. And there's some validity to many of the things he said. You are the head coach, so when they call a fourth down call that no one agrees with, even though you're not the offense coordinator, you're a defensive guy, you still have to own it. But players know. Players know if coaches know what they're doing, if coaches have the pulse of the locker room. Here's DJ Moore when he was asked if Matt Eberflus has lost the locker room.
I want to say no. The message yesterday was that we know we 4-4 now. It's just like being 0-0. But you just got to go out there and start stacking wins how we did. And that's the best thing we can do is win and then let the chips fall how they fall after we do so.
Yeah, I mean, I what DJ Moore is saying is he didn't say no, but he said, hey, look, if we win, we're okay. Yeah, that's actually not the sign of a good group. Don't get me wrong. Everything is good. Everything tastes good, smells good, feels good when you win. When you win. But your culture is, if your culture is intact, if your group is a cohesive group, if when they face the adversity of multiple losses, they're still together and they still listen to you and they still believe.
I don't want to say no.
I don't want to say no. I don't want to say no. Yeah, Dan.
There's something very interesting going on with the Bears because it doesn't even seem like it's a two-sided fight. Because DJ Moore is kind of in the center of all of this, but it was his comments last week when he was critical of when Eberflus told him to keep his comments in-house. And then DJ Moore said, yeah, that's what I was told. And then this past week against Arizona, DJ Moore basically quit on a play where he ran out of bounds. And I don't know if he pulled up lame, tweaked an ankle or something, but took himself completely out of the play and was on the sidelines as Caleb Williams is running around. And then later on in the game, at the end of the game, as the Bears had the ball at the end, there's a spot where you see Caleb Williams walking off the field and DJ Moore walks past him and they bump shoulders like you would have if you had beef with someone. So I don't know who DJ Moore is mad at, but he sure seems to not be happy with Eberflus, and he sure seems to not be happy with Caleb Williams at this point. So it's very, very odd because I think we thought the divide would probably be Eberflus and the coaches on one side, Caleb Williams and the players on another, but it's a weird dynamic in Chicago where DJ Moore finds himself in the center of all this.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating. I think it's really fascinating to see. I don't know if DJ Moore is getting exposed. Let's just do this, Dan. I agree with you. Okay, you're 100% right. So can I tell you let me just tell you my perception. You tell me if you think it's accurate. He probably thinks Caleb Williams is getting treated with kid gloves, getting a pass. He's number 1 overall pick, and they're not hard enough on him, and he's likely making mistakes or doing something, or not getting the ball, and Eberflus isn't holding him accountable, and so that's why he's mad at both of them.
Yeah.
What it feels like.
Yeah.
And again, we don't have any idea. Dan, do you have any idea? We can only hear what he says and then read body language, but I'm with you. I saw them bump shoulders. I was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Very odd. It's also a very, toxic male thing to do where it's like you're both trying to prove a point, so neither one budges, and you get that scenario there. DJ Moore has a platform every single week, speaking today, speaking with media outlets, and the whole thing last week of just saying like I should have kept my complaints in house. Well, then you're talking about stuff that maybe should have been kept in house. So it's very, very odd, and I don't. The funny thing is, Doug, is if you're trying to get Matt Eberflus fired, DJ Moore is not doing a great case to keep himself around in Chicago.
Sure.
So that's what's odd to me.
Yeah, it's because why would you keep a guy around who was disloyal to his previous coach?
Yeah, right. and doesn't get along with the quarterback apparently.
Right. And by the way, Caleb Williams not going anywhere. You don't get rid of a guy, a number 1 overall pick in a year unless he's an abject disaster. He's not an abject disaster. So it makes you think that what must be happening is they must something about Caleb Williams and the accountability or mistakes or how he's carrying himself or whatever. But it's pretty obvious that when somebody asks if you've lost the locker room, the answer is no. The answer is no. No.
I got something.
Yes, Jason.
You remember when after the season ended last year, remember DJ Moore was one of the players that publicly said that he wanted Justin Fields back. And there was a little bit of awkwardness there when they decided to draft the quarterback, and they went back to DJ Moore, and he said the company line, but there was that awkwardness there and that he was a Fields guy. Then they bring in Caleb Williams, and I'll add this as well. Do you remember that anonymous executive who said about Williams that you're putting a lot of faith and you're putting a lot of capital into a guy that might be Prince? Do you remember that? And I think everyone took the analogy of Prince as that he's kind of eccentric or even girly or whatever with the fingernail polish and everything. But sure. I think what he meant was Prince is aloof. Prince is difficult. Prince doesn't get along with people in his team. So maybe there's something with all of this.
Maybe. I think it's that he's eccentric. Eccentric. By the way, eccentric is as misspelled and pronounced as espresso is. Just, right? Like if you ask somebody who doesn't know, how do you spell espresso? What do you think they say? They all say EX. Don't you think, Jay?
I think so. Espresso? Am I saying it wrong?
It's espresso.
Okay.
So eccentric is actually eccentric?
It's ECC is how it's spelled.
Yeah, I thought it was eccentric, isn't it? You were saying eccentric. Like grocers, your grocer's freezer.
How is it actually pronounced? Because somebody
I would say eccentric.
Do the thing in your phone where it can say it, right? Like espresso, there is no X. It's
right.
S.
It's ES.
Espresso. Yeah. Eccentric, okay. Do you think it's eccentric?
That's how I have pronounced it in the past.
Yeah, it's just verified it for me.
Eccentric?
Yep.
Okay. My point is, I do think there's some people that think it's eccentric.
Eccentric. Oh.
I think it's okay.